way to think about food, one that goes beyond what's on your plate and looks at how, when and where we eat. I'd like to welcome Nitu Pasricha, an association for nutrition, registered nutrition and lifestyle consultant. She's founder of Holistic Health Nutrition and an experienced public health speaker with over 15 years of experience in community health services. She takes a whole person approach supporting nutrition, physical activity, sleep and emotional well-being. She provides evidence-based, sustainable guidance in a safe, supportive and non-judgmental environment. Available in English, Hindi and Punjabi. And in this session, Mindful Eating for Gut Health, Nitu will show us how mindful eating can support digestion, strengthen the mind-body connection and help you build a positive relationship with food. You'll discover practical strategies to recognise your body's hunger and fullness cues, making informed choices and adopt a small sustainable change that can support your gut and overall well-being. So please give a warm welcome to Nitu.
My name is Nitu Pasricha. I'm an AFM registered nutritionist and a public health speaker. So my background is maternal and child health actually. I started my journey working with 0 to 19 services, so working all the way from pregnant women, so while babies were not even born, all the way up to 19 years old, and right now I work more with adults. So my areas of practice are diabetes prevention, healthy weight management, gut and digestive health, and holistic menopause health as well. Yeah. So thank you very much, first of all of you for making time to come, especially being Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, and a lovely day. So I really, truly am grateful to you all. I hope you will enjoy today's talk. So we're going to talk about mindful eating for gut health. So this one is more focused for gut health. But as we will speak today, as I will talk, you will learn mindful eating has got lots of health benefits. So not just gut health. There are many more health benefits, which I hope you will start looking as we move on. Yeah? So anybody have any idea about mindful eating? Has anybody heard of this before? What it means? What's the concept, mindful eating? Yeah? How about mindfulness? Yeah, most of us have heard of mindfulness, isn't it? So the concept of mindfulness is about being in the moment. So when you're present in the moment, we are not thinking about the past, what's just happened. We are not worrying about the future, what's coming next, but we are actually trying to live in the moment where we are. So that's the definition of mindfulness. When we connect it with eating, that tells us, so while we are eating, if we try and stay in the moment, yeah, so we put all the attention in our food, with our bodily sensations, so be present there rather than thinking about past or future. Yeah, so that's the concept of mindful eating, where it comes from. So with regards to mindful eating, it's not an outcome focused approach. Yeah, so we don't think about outcome, what's going to happen if we eat mindfully. It's a process. We just follow, we just be in the moment and we experience. It's more to do with experience of that process, yeah? So that's why hence mindful eating is not a diet. It's not a diet. It's not about restricting or limiting yourself from any foods, yeah? It's not about judging what we are eating. It's about experience. So how are we experiencing in our body, in our mind, what's happening while we are eating? So that's about mindful eating. Makes sense? Yeah? So it's really fascinating to learn how mindful eating or being present in the moment and experiencing our eating, how that can link to our health and well-being. Has anybody heard of mind and body connection before? Heard of? Yeah? So there's lots of scientific research evidence nowadays highlighting there's a direct connection between our mind and body. And today we will dig down deeper into that. Yeah? But before we dig deeper, let's look into a little context right now. So, autonomous nervous system is our human nervous system. The reason the term it's called autonomous nervous system is, as you might guess, it keeps on switching automatically. Yeah. So we might not realize, but our nervous system might be switching between two main modes. So there's sympathetic nervous system, which is also known as fight, flight or freeze mode of nervous system. And then there's parasympathetic nervous system, which is more known as rest and digest mode. So as the term suggests, we can start to think, isn't it? So sympathetic is more of survival mode. Yeah, so this is on when our body and brain feel that we need to survive in this situation. So this comes from primitive times when human beings, us, we used to live in wild. We were surrounded by wild animals. This is hunter and gatherers times. When we used to hunt animals and then eat them as food. So hunters and gatherers time, yeah? And since then, this is how our brains and our bodies are designed. So it's a natural nervous system that we live in day to day, yeah? So the only difference in modern world is, right now, we are no more living in wild. We don't have those dangerous animals around us. But the way life is these days, we still keep switching between two nervous systems. Do you know why? Modern day stresses, isn't it? So nowadays, in modern days, if we don't have a lion or tiger approaching us, what do we have? Background environment, something happening in the environment, maybe children screaming in the background, seeking our attention. How about the email you need to send? How about a phone call you must have just taken, which wasn't really favorable? How about a deadline? Yeah? Or how about, you have got so much to catch up with and you're thinking so many things, you're trying to multitask. So all these things in modern today's world can still impact on our nervous system and switch us into sympathetic mode without even realizing. So we might be thinking in our head, we're doing absolutely fine, life is moving fine. Yeah, you might not realize that your nervous system is on this mode, which is survival mode. Yeah. Now thinking a little bit more deeper into it, survival mode. What does that suggest us? What might have happening in our body and brain when our body and brain is trying to keep us alive? All the attention, all the focus is going to go on vital organs, isn't it? To keep us alive. Yeah. On our heart, on our brain, on our limbs, because if we are trying to get ready to fight with something or flee from a situation, yeah, what do we need? We need all the energy, all the blood circulation going to our vital organs to keep us alive, survive, and to deal with the situation there. Yeah. When we talk about eating, we need rest and digest mode. So here on the slide, you see what happens when we are in survival mode. The saliva in our mouth start to reduce. The activity of stomach start to get slower, it inhibits, yeah, and of course heart rate increases because our body and brain is getting us ready to fight, flee from the situation, or sometimes we even freeze. Our brain doesn't know how to respond because of that shock or trauma in that situation, yeah. So that's what happens. It reduces the activity of intestine, and in the next slide we'll see how it's all then connecting to our digestive system. Also, stimulate glucose release. So I hope as we are moving on with this topic, you will start putting the dots together. So remember this, keep this in mind, and we are going to come back on this, yeah? So in survival mode, but if we connect the dot right now, if we are trying to flee, fight from any situation or threat, our body is going to need energy, yeah? And to get that energy, our body is going to release more glucose because that's energy. So that makes sense there, isn't it? So in survival mode, we'll have more glucose already in our bloodstream, yeah? And while on the other side, on opposite side, if we are in rest and digest mode, as the term suggests itself, of course, there will be more saliva produced in our mouth, yeah? It will slow down the heart rate so that the attention of our body is not going to the heart anymore. It's focused on our gut. Yeah, so it will slow down the heart rate. Of course, when all the focus comes to our gut or stomach, there will be more activity in our stomach and our small intestines as well. Yeah, and of course, there won't be any need for too much glucose because we are in rest and digest mode. Our brain gets the message, everything is fine, we are safe, we can relax. We don't need to get ready to fight with something or flee from situation. Yeah, so our body is going to be in more rest and digest mode. So that's the difference. Yeah. As I mentioned before, these nervous system keep on switching without even us sometimes realizing. And do you know how fast? In 30 seconds. 30 seconds, it can really switch. And if you have heard about breathing exercises, which if you are all comfortable with, we can try today, yeah? So 3 deep long breaths can really help us to switch back from sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic nervous system, yeah? So that's one point we can remember at this stage. Okay? So moving on. Now we have looked into body and mind connection. Let's go a little bit deeper. The gut and brain connection. So if you have seen this is the gastrointestinal tract. Yeah? All the accessories, so mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and our bowel system, it all makes our gastrointestinal tract. Because the system is, we eat food, we ingest, basically we add food in our body, then we chew, we swallow. Now for swallowing we use pharynx or we use esophagus, yeah, which is also called food pipe, as you might know. And then it comes to digesting this food, then there are enzymes secreted, yeah, and then of course more digestion, absorption and excretion. So that's the whole system. But do you know digestion starts in our mouth? Has anybody ever heard of that? Yeah? We have whole set of microbiome starting in our mouth. So there's microbiome in our mouth, on our skin, in our gut of course, and then for women in our vagina as well. So that's all microbiome. And do you know how many bacteria we have? Millions and trillions of bacteria. If you've had a chance to walk through the gut, it's got really good tips there, and that can make up to 2 kilograms of our body weight. So these many bacteria live inside our gut and digestive system. Yeah. So it all starts from our mouth. The way we connected with eating is, I'm going to go a little bit more deeper into this, but when we ingest our food and when we start chewing on our food, all of this digestion already start happening before it even moves down from our esophagus to our stomach. Yeah, and that kind of links the dot with oral health, isn't it? Sorry, because I'm in holistic approach, I keep connecting all the dots so you get an idea as well. Yeah, especially when we speak with children, we do touch on oral health as well. So this is another dot to connect the importance of oral health. Why do we need our microbiome or health in our mouth to be good enough? Because it's part of gastrointestinal system. It has a very important role with our gut health and digestive health. Yeah. So that's there. Any questions so far? Yeah, all good? Great. So digging deeper, more into this, the brain and gut connection. Does anyone know there's a direct connection with gut and brain? Yeah, heard of that? Lots of research highlighting now. Yeah. Have you heard the phrase gut feeling? Yeah, not in my gut. Yeah, these kind of phrases, we hear that a lot. Yeah, or gut is your second brain. Somebody told me on Thursday that we know we have heard gut is the second brain. Yeah, so we feel in our gut, don't we? How come? It's gut, it's not mind, but we feel it. So that shows us all the thoughts, feelings and emotions are connected with our gut. What's happening here has an impact here and vice versa. So it's called bi-directional relationship. Yeah. So whatever happens in our gut goes to our mind, and whatever happens in our mind comes to our gut. And if you remember, if ever in your life you've come across in the situation where something's happened, and in mind you're feeling anxious or stressful, and suddenly you start feeling your stomach rumbling, discomfort, or even pain as well. Yeah. So these are the signs to show us, you know, or you're in a situation where you're worried about something, you suddenly start feeling something is not right in your gut, because there's a direct connection. So distress, stress, and even mood or negative thoughts, everything has an impact. Yeah. So sometimes it starts from our gut. If our gut is not comfortable, there's discomfort, there's pain, there's uneasiness in our gut, there's food still sitting here, although we might have eaten a long time back, we don't feel ourselves, do we? Or how about if we are not able to open up our bowel regularly? That has an impact as well, isn't it? Somewhere in our mind, we keep feeling that this doesn't feel right. We haven't opened our bowel. Because it's all GI tract, remember? The whole system. Because that shows there's something there that needs to be clear. Yeah? And look at this point. So when we are in stressful mode, it actually disconnects the blood flow up to 4 times, like I mentioned before. Because in that phase of nervous system, the whole attention of our mind and body is to keep us alive. So the blood circulation flow is going to go on towards vital organs. So our digestive health is the one that is very poorly neglected at that time. So 4 times cut off the blood circulation. And that then links with reducing the absorption of essential nutrients. Isn't it? Yeah? So we are working hard for preparing our healthy, delicious meals. But imagine this, if we are not taking enough time to sit down and enjoy our meals, be mindful, present in the moment, yeah, we might be actually missing out on all these essential, beautiful nutrients. Yeah? And that also delays gastric emptying. So this term here, gastric emptying, means how fast the food moves from our stomach. Yeah. So we have ingested the food, it's moved down from esophagus, it's come to the stomach. But if we are not taking time to eat mindfully, which we will dig deeper very soon, it can still stay here for very long, as I mentioned before. So food is here, food is not getting processed really to the level it should, yeah? And that's called the gastric emptying. So it might take a little longer to move from stomach to intestine. So that might still make you feel full, yeah? But not in a good sense though, yeah? Because it should be moving to be able to absorb and digest it and get the nutrients, yeah? So what happens is then, when this happens, when there's delayed gastric emptiness or when the food is not moving to the right level, that triggers cravings as well, yeah, if you've noticed. Yeah. Have you noticed if you're in a stressful mood or negative thoughts, yeah, you might crave for something sweet or something calorie dense as we call it, so more fatty food, yeah, that happens.
Lack of sleep.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, there's a direct connection with sleep and as well. Absolutely. And how about positive emotions? We've been talking all negative emotions. How about positive emotions? Yeah. How about happiness? How about celebration time? How about when you're excited? Do you still feel the same? Does your stomach still connect with those thoughts? Positive thoughts? Yeah. Sometimes we feel that if you're happy, you feel like having something sweet, isn't it? If you're happy, you feel like eating more. That's because of the happy thoughts, positive thoughts. So it's both negative and positive thoughts, both. Yeah, so not necessarily just negative. How interesting, isn't it? Our thoughts can impact on our appetite and our gut and digestion. Yeah. So coming up to mindful eating then. So let's start putting the dots together. How now mindful eating can help us. So we have now looked into our nervous system, which is natural, which keeps switching. We have looked into the direct connection between our mind and body. So now let's see. So these are the core principles of mindful eating. Yeah. So first and foremost important principle is to slow down. Again, as I mentioned before, we all are working so hard to get potted, delicious, nutritious meals on our plates, but are we actually taking time to slow down and savor that meal, to enjoy that meal? That's the question we need to ask. Yeah, in this busy lifestyle, while we are running around trying to multitask, do so many things, we don't realize we are running on sympathetic nervous system because we have things to complete, we have tasks to finish, or we have things to attend to. And then we sit down, or not even sit down, while we are walking around on the go, we start munching on food. We don't even take time to sit down. Yeah. So we'll see how it happens, yeah, as we move on. Another one is avoid distraction. Apparently there's a latest research, really interesting research talking about what happens with our gut health or digestive health when we are eating, while we are watching TV, looking at our phone, or maybe typing on our computer because there's so much work to do, yeah, or we are dealing with something in the background, yeah. And now we know our thoughts, our mind can have an impact. We know now it can cut down the blood circulation system to 4 times. So we can start putting the dots there. If we are distracted with anything, if we have something to sort out, a deadline to meet, children to attend to, whatever it is, yeah, it can have an impact. So this is very important to try and avoid distractions, yeah, as much possible. And this can be any kind of distractions. Next is engaging your senses. So now we have taken our time, let's say we have sat down for our meal. Next is engaging our senses. So touch, feel, smell. If you've heard of this phrase, we eat first with our nose. Yeah, it's the smell. I always remember sometimes I'm walking around and I walk past the coffee shop and I smell delicious croissant. Makes me hungry suddenly, yeah? We eat with the smell first, yeah? So it's 80% they say we eat our food by only smell. And it's already start connecting in our head what the food might taste like if you smell. So smell is really, really important. When you smell, your brain gets the message, food is coming, food is approaching, so get the system ready. So all the digestive enzymes start to activate, saliva start producing. Even if you think about food, it starts happening, isn't it? Yeah? So that's the magic of engaging our senses there. How about touch? Touching our food. So using hands. So the concept, the idea is, it stimulates vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is the nerve that connects our brain, heart, and our digestive system. So when we touch and feel our food, again our body gets the opportunity to prepare. Again the digestive enzymes get active, the whole process gets ready, that food is coming. Yeah? And this vagus nervous system basically helps us to go back to parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest mode, which we know now. Yeah. So that's the concept of eating with hand. And how about then? So you have touched it, you have smelled it. Yeah. How about looking at your food? Does that make any difference? Yeah. How about when you present your food in a nice, beautiful manner, which is very attractive? Yeah. One of the reasons why we love eating out. When we go out, eat out in the restaurant, the food is presented really beautifully, isn't it? It's so appealing, so attractive. Yeah. At home, sometimes we don't give that much attention to the presentation. Yeah. But it can matter, you know. So this is what we link with colorful rainbow plate. So if we have all the colors on our plate, it looks pretty, it looks inviting, and that sometimes helps you to build that positive relationship with your food. Yeah. Imagine if you have a plate in front of you with all the food piling up, yeah, everything mixing up, all the colors, you can't even differentiate what's where, yeah. So there's no section and it's all like big pile of food, or maybe sometimes overflowing the edges of your plate. How would you feel as compared to when you have a plate, nicely displayed food, all the colors, and you see what you are eating, yeah? How would you relate to that plate of food then? So sometimes that's the difference. So when you see your food, it looks appealing, you build that positive relationship and you're more interested to try it, to give it a go. That this looks interesting, let me try, yeah? So that's where the C point comes in then, yeah? And then of course your mouth, chewing, yeah? Tasting. So taste, again, has a big role when it comes to our food, isn't it? Do you like tasting your food, or do you just straight away would like to go and try, have it? Tasting is important, isn't it? Yeah? So what happens is when we are children, when we are babies, this is how we go with our food habits. We take our time, we touch, we taste. If we like, our brain gets the message, yes, I enjoy it. And then it's stored in our memory, isn't it? And that's how we start building relationship with food. Yeah, but as we grow older, life gets busy, so many things we are having in our mind, we are doing so many things, we hardly take time to slow down, touch, smell and taste our food. So we are actually, while running around, we are just gulping down whatever we get, isn't it? Yeah, so that comes the role of engaging our senses. Then it's chewing. So we have touched, we have felt, we have smelled, we have seen our food, so now putting in our mouth. Why do you think chewing is so important? Breaking down? Absolutely, yeah. So if we help our digestive system by already breaking down food into smaller proportions, it can really help to gastric empty, yeah, to fasten the gastric empty and also to digest that food as well. So definitely breaking that down. Also when we chew, now we know digestion starts in mouth, and I have mentioned about the enzymes in our mouth. These enzymes activate. Saliva is produced. So that also starts making this food into a bolus, like of mushy, yeah, if you think about that. So mushy kind of bolus, which can then easily go through our esophagus, yeah. Sometimes I see clients, young clients, they are eating really healthily, deliciously, but it's the mindful eating is the pillar that's not really in place, and that's where we say, because sometimes big bite and really fastly gulping down without even chewing it properly can give them a little discomfort in the esophagus. So that might sometimes relate with swallowing difficulties, yeah? For some, not for all of them. Some people might have more complex situation with swallowing, but sometimes it could be as simple as not taking time to chew or break down our food properly, yeah? That people might find it difficult to swallow it down. So chewing down is really important. Also, when we help our system to break down the food compound already, nutrients are ready to be released, isn't it? All those flavors and nutrients are ready to be bursted, yeah? So that's where the nutrition circulation comes in then, really good circulation there. Mid-meal pause, very interesting point. Any idea why we have this point here, taking a pause between our meals while we are eating? So mindfulness eating suggests if we try and take a pause in between, that can allow us to connect with our body. Once you start eating, you can go in that cycle of eating, your food. However, if you take a pause, slow down, put your cutlery down if you are using cutlery, or just take a pause in between, try and connect with your body. This can help you to feel or think about any kind of sensations in your body. And this can really then help you to start thinking, how does your body respond to different foods? Can there be any food causing kind of discomfort? And this is where you might be able to pick up on any intolerances, any kind of foods, certain foods that you feel does not feel comfortable in your gut or digestive health. So taking a pause can give you time to connect with your mind and body again. And it can also help you to recognize your hunger or fullness. Otherwise, if you just keep on eating and eating, we might not realize when we are already full, and we might just continue eating even beyond that state of being full. But taking a pause in between can really give us time to connect and think, okay, how am I feeling now? Am I starting to feel full? And this also can be an opportunity to decide, do I need more food or do I feel okay? Because look at this, research suggests it takes 20 minutes at least for our brain to register the fullness. So there's hunger cues our body gives us, then there are fullness cues. But with fullness cues, it might take 20 minutes. But sometimes we just keep on eating until we feel too full, until we feel discomfort in our stomach. And then we start thinking, I've actually eaten too much to the level that I don't feel comfortable anymore. So mid-meal pause can really help you to tune in with your body and to think about your fullness and to ask yourself this question maybe, am I full or do I feel like eating more, a little bit more, So eating mindfully and taking pause can help you get there. Language around food, why do you think that would be important? I've kind of mentioned it. So when we are babies, we try a food for the first time, we taste it, and there's a thought in our mind saying, oh, this food feels nice, it tastes good, smells good, looks good, and that set neural pathways in our brain. So now as in our adulthood, as we are eating, if we start putting food in certain categories, for example, good food, bad food, which happens a lot these days, because there's so much hype about eat this, don't eat this, and we've been told, to limit, to restrict, and eat this much. So our brains are constantly judging, when actually mindful eating is not about judging, it's about being curious. So just be curious, try these new foods, try to be open-minded, rather than limiting your thoughts to this is good food, bad food. Because what would happen? You might still enjoy that food, but later on it might set up the guilt trip. So you might not feel happy about why did you eat that. And imagine that we now know about nervous system. If you're getting these negative thoughts of what you have just eaten, which you think your perception, your brain's perception is bad food, I should not have eaten this, but I have eaten. So it's going to keep you in the sympathetic nervous mode, because now you're thinking all about food you have just eaten and feeling bad about it or feeling guilty about it maybe. So that's the reason we say try and keep open mind around food, try and be curious rather than judging yourself. So allow yourself a little bit flexibility to enjoy whatever you're eating, and then see how your body and mind respond to that. Food story or appreciation, we can link it with mid-meal pause. So if you do decide to take a pause in between your meal, what you can do at that time, apart from connecting with your body and thinking about what sort of sensations you are feeling, you can maybe also think about the story of the food. So food story means thinking about where this food must have grown, thinking about the field this food must have grown in, thinking about the farmers, their hard work they have put in this food to grow it. How about the travel? Has this food traveled maybe from another part of the world to reach on my plate? How about that? How about just in general thinking about the food, the color, the way it looks, and how it's been prepared? So that's part of the food story. I have amazing video on this. If anybody would like me to share the video, I'm more than happy. If you would like to share your details, I can send you the video on this amazing food story video, just to give you an idea. And then appreciation. We're talking about how we are responding to our food. How do we think about our food? Are we categorizing it into good food or bad food? Or are we being appreciative? Because now scientific research evidence suggests appreciation or gratitude for our food can do wonders on our health and well-being. It's really, really good for our mental health, for heart health, for digestive health, of course. Because again, in today's world, we know there's so much going on. So gratitude or appreciation can really help us, again, to switch into parasympathetic nervous mode, because now we are relaxed. We are enjoying, we are happy with whatever we are going to eat. And we are appreciative of that. We are grateful for that food. So all these can activate happy hormones or rest and digest mode in us. Yeah. So just going to touch on that. The reason I have the 80-20 rule is going a little bit backwards. So when we say it takes our brain 20 minutes to acknowledge if we are full. So what we suggest is sometimes we can try and eat up to the 80% level of our fullness and leave 20% space there. Yeah. See how your body responds. If you still feel like a little bit more hunger, yes, by all means you can try and have some more. Yeah. So this strategy can help as well. Okay. Yeah, so coming back on engaging body and mind. So in practice, so now after today's session, you can start putting all these mindful eating practices in place, and you can start with this. You can start and sit down, switch your nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic, and while sitting down, you'll be improving your posture. Yeah. So in sitting mode, rather than walking around, you can improve your posture, and that can prevent you from lots of digestive issues as well and gut issues. This I've already mentioned, so we might not have to go back again. Smell, like I mentioned, it helps with your appetite. So again, some people, if they are not feeling hungry enough, so slowing down, eating mindfully, smelling your food, touching your food can activate your enzymes and improve your appetite there and digestive enzymes. Yeah. But all of these helps you build positive relationship with food, because remember, we are not judging our food. We are not judging what's on our plate. We are looking much beyond what is on our plate. We are now looking into how are we eating. Yeah. Are we sitting down? Are we on the go? Are we already thinking about something while we are eating? Yeah. Where are we eating? Are we in a chaotic environment? Yeah. Or are we on our eating table, sitting down, taking our time to eat? Yeah. So in one of our diabetes prevention program, I had 4 teachers in my class, and we were talking about this, how challenging it can be for teachers or staff to eat in lunch room, especially if it's really chaotic. And they started, after this talk, they started connecting the dots, and they could clearly see that it wasn't more about what they were eating, because they were eating very healthy, delicious, nutritious meal, but it was more to do with the environment in the background. With children running around, so much to attend to for them, yeah. So how then it made them to eat or gulp down their food really quickly, yeah. So environment matters a lot. And if we sit down, engage our senses, we see lots of benefits there. Okay. So we have already kind of mentioned this. It helps us break down our food, yeah. Processes in the stomach, yeah, increases saliva, and prevent all kind of health and gut and digestive health issues there, yeah. Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much. That's all from me. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Before we completely finish, I just wanted to let you know, following this talk, as an extension, I have designed this handbook, which you are welcome to buy if you like. It's for £15 each. All of the information we have covered in here is there, with a lot more. And this workbook can actually help you to start putting this in practice. This can be your workbook, take home, so you're not rushing about making all the changes all together. Yeah, you can come back to this workbook, make your notes, and you can work on one step at a time. Yeah, and also there are a couple of great phrases which I would like to share if we have time. Do we? Are we okay with time? Yeah. So one is from one of the Buddhist Zen master, Tenahan, and what he has said about mindful eating or the benefits is, I'll read it to you. I love this, so I thought let me share with you as well. So he says, sometimes something as simple as drinking a cup of tea mindfully can bring us so much joy and pleasure, because it helps us to connect with earth. Remember we said about food story, yeah? So he said the way we drink our cup of tea can transform our lives if we truly devote our attention, if we are present in the moment while we are enjoying our cup of tea. When you lift the cup of tea next time, if you think about, you breathe in the aroma, try and think about those plantations of the tea, where they were planted, what has gone into it? The sun, the wind, yeah, the rain. So in your cup of tea actually, you can experience that you are drinking cloud, you are drinking rain, yeah, you are drinking the hard work of all of those farmers. So it's a tea contains the whole universe, that's what he says. There's a whole universe in our cup of tea, yeah. And there's another one from Sadhguru, who is one of the mindful teachers as well. He says, the true joy of eating lies in the awareness that another life is becoming our life, part of our life. By paying attention to the subtle connection between body and food, we can intuitively know what and how much we need to eat. With this awareness, a simple meal can be transformed into a beautiful process of nourishment and harmony. Yeah? Lovely wordings, isn't it? Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions?
Have we got any questions?
Yeah, sure. Hello.
We talked about not using laptops,
Yes.
TV during eating. What about talking to other people? Is it the same, or is it
Very good point. Very good point. Thank you for asking that. Yeah. So in regards to talking, like we mentioned about food story, if we talk about food, we are actually still trying to be mindful in the moment, yeah? Or we are having general conversations, which we do. When we eat together, it's very normal, very natural. We do have conversations, which is again great. There's no problem with that because we are still being present in the moment, being mindful of taking our time, chewing, swallowing our food and savoring that meal. The only difference comes is if we are actually not having a conversation, but it's beyond conversation, something that's not very pleasing. Yeah. So say for example, if you are in a conversation which is not that great and you're trying to eat alongside, then of course that doesn't serve the purpose. Yeah. Makes sense? Yeah.
I'm just interested to know a bit more about the study that you mentioned at the
Yes, sure.
beginning.
Sure.
Has that study been done also on children and the effect of, let's say, watching something on a phone while they're eating? Because I feel I work with a lot of families and it's becoming more and more prevalent that they just put something on,
Yes.
even not even a TV screen, but on a phone right in front of
That's
them
right.
to eat. And has there been any studies, or has that study been also done on
Yeah,
children?
sure. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, so this study was done on adults, but however, we all, whether in childhood, young age or adulthood age, our nervous system work the same. Yeah, so it is advisable even for children as well to try and avoid any distractions because the nervous system is going to remain the same, whatever age group we are. Yeah, I work from babies, children to all the way up to elderly as well. Yeah, all of us, we have same nervous system which keeps switching. So even if children are distracted, from early age, they won't be able to start recognizing their hunger and fullness. They won't be able to build that positive relationship with food, and that will develop as a habit, do you think, isn't it? So it's a good role modeling if we already start implementing all these principles for the whole family. And that brings us to the whole family approach. That brings the way we all eat in the family with no distractions because our bodies are same.
So as a follow-up to what you've just said, if, let's say, I've been brought up and not necessarily developed the best habits, and as an adult, how easy or hard it is to change those habits and change your nervous system to eat more mindfully?
Brilliant, thank you very much. Yes, so that's the reason I thought I'll design this. With regards to habit changing, what science suggests is it can take us up to 21 days to form new habits. When we talk about habit changing, we basically need to remember we need to unlearn what we have been already doing because we've been followed a certain kind of lifestyle for years at this age, yeah? So it's about unlearning those habits which we have always followed before we actually start putting something new in place of them, yeah? In this booklet, if you wish to go for it, I have actually put some strategies together to help you to take small steps so you can make your own time, and start working on one thing at a time. But we can certainly, if we want, we can certainly change our habits. And if you think we have changed so many habits, we are not the same people as we were when we were young, isn't it? We do change habits, but changing habits take time. That is something we need to remember. And that's where we suggest try not to be judgmental, try to be curious, try to be compassionate. Self-compassion is really, really important, giving ourselves enough time. Yeah, but it takes motivation, discipline, isn't it? All of these things together if you actually want to change your habits or practices. Yeah, but we can certainly do that for sure. For sure. Yeah, any more questions?
Actually, even before this talk, I always felt working lunches weren't very good. Because working lunch and standing with a plate it's just not helpful. You can't focus either on the conversation or on the food. So I just feel that some corporates should avoid having these working lunches.
100% agree with you. I myself struggle as well when they ask me for lunchtime talks. Lunchtime or meal times should be enjoying our meals really, isn't it? But if we are using our brains to learn and retain the information while we are trying to eat, we cannot actually connect with our food, isn't it? So meal time should be pure religiously meal times only. Yes, little bit conversation is a good idea. However, we need to make sure that conversation is kind of relaxed conversation. Yeah, it's not kind of where we are arguing or trying to say our point or prove something, because then remember we are going to be in sympathetic nervous system mode. Yeah, as long as it's relaxed conversation, we are enjoying and we are talking, all great idea, why not? But yes, lunch meal time should be more relaxed for sure.
Can I have one more question?
Sure.
You mentioned earlier about the importance of senses
Yes.
when we eat. And again, I'm going back to children.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned it's important to touch our food.
Yeah.
Are there any studies done on the importance of children actually exploring
Yes.
the food with their hands and feeding themselves? Because again, that can be
Absolutely. Yes, there are actually. There are. And long time back, I used to do that. We used to do food play, messy play, where we allowed babies to touch their food, and develop that natural instinct of taking food in their mouth and tasting it. So absolutely, yes, there is research evidence suggesting that. And like I mentioned before, the earlier age, the better habits we form, and that's where the family approach becomes really good idea. So if you already start role modeling within our family environments that meal times are sacred times, so we all savor our meals, because we have been working hard to get these hot meals on our plates, isn't it? From the farms where they have been grown. So if we are not doing justice, giving time, how do we expect things to continue? Yeah. So absolutely, there are researches and very beneficial right from younger age to develop these eating practices. Very important. Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah.
I'll just say actually, Nitu, thank you for explaining beautifully how we should be eating. I just wanted to have your thoughts about when the timing of meals is also a factor that can help digestion management.
Absolutely, thank you very much for asking this. Yes, absolutely. So regular meal times is very, very important, because this talk of course was limited to time and gut focus, but yes, definitely. So regular meal times again helps us with managing or regulating our appetite, our hunger and fullness, and our body's responses, as well. Because if you have noticed, if you leave too long between your meals, again, because of that body and mind connection, you start feeling it in your head, isn't it? Some people might start to feel dizzy maybe, yeah? And in my book again, I have explained that sometimes you feel physical hunger in your stomach, growling, yeah? Different gnawing, different kind of sounds or discomfort, or maybe bloating and wind and gas because you've left too long between your meals. Yeah. How about blood sugar levels? They can start to drop as well if we leave too long. Yeah. How about our mind getting the message that there's no food, is there food scarcity, and our body starts storing those fats. Yeah, because our nervous system starts to switch. Remember. So it's not going to be parasympathetic anymore. So absolutely right. Eating regularly, balanced meals, very, very important part of health and well-being.
Do you have a suggested time when should be the latest to eat your meal? And what do you think about intermittent fasting?
Good point, thank you. So with regards to time, it's very personal. Yeah, all bodies are different. Remember gastric emptying. Some of us might take 2 hours for gastric emptying. Some of us, if we have a little bit slower metabolism, we might take a little longer. It also depends on the meal. If somebody had a very calorie dense meal, it might take longer. Yeah? And if you've had something sweet, sugary, we know carbohydrates, they quickly burn out and you get all the energy and they go into your cells and you might be hungry again. Yeah? The analogy used here is fire and paper. So if you keep putting paper on fire, that's sweet foods or glucose foods, yeah, it's going to burn really quick and you're going to need more. Yeah, and that's where we see the spikes. So the quicker the glucose levels goes up, the quicker it comes down. But when we have a satisfying meal, balanced meal, that can keep us full for longer, so that can help you decide. It's personal. Usually, we take 2 to 3 hours to digest our meal if we had a normal general meal, not very calorie dense or not very sweet meal, and it should be 2 to 3 hours. But the idea is to keep it balanced. Yeah. So generally, we suggest 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if somebody feel like and they need maybe 2 snacks, healthy snacks in between. Yeah, that's the idea. But all of us are different. Every day is different. Some days you might feel yourself, you feel a little bit more hungrier than another day. You feel like having a snack in between. Another day you might feel, meal is fine, I feel full, I don't feel like eating now. Yeah, and you can keep going. So it's very personal, it's individual choice. Yeah? Any more questions? No? Thank you very much. Thank you again for this.